Next is going to be our drive-in cap assembly. The reason why we would replace this is there was something stuck inside the valve body and the motor could not turn, and because the motor is made of metal and these gears are plastic, it just kind of chewed these gears up. It's easier just to replace the entire assembly than just, replacing the inner parts of this, especially if you're just a lay person who wants to change a part. Someone like myself who has a kit could do that a little better if I'm out, but if you want to replace the part, my suggestion is if something like that happens and there's something in the valve body, just to replace the entire part, because that could be a problem. The inner mechanisms can be a problem, and the piston itself can be a problem. Just replace the entire thing. It's affordable enough. There are 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd want to remove those. On your piston inside here, one of the major reasons why I will replace the entire assembly is because it got old, the piston itself. You can just replace the piston if you want to, but again, if the piston is getting old, then all the rest of the mechanism is as well. Just for a little more money, you'd be able to get the entire assembly. But there is a plug on the end of this piston, and there's some little white, what they call, I guess you'd call them O-rings, classify them as O-rings, but they're a ring. And sometimes those rings will crack. And so when it's in a position, thinking it's actually brine rinsing, it's allowing backwash. So it's not allowing the system to function properly in its cycles. So you take these 4 screws off and loosen them up, and then you just take this and pull it out. When you pull it out, there are 2 things to look for. There's an O-ring on this little mechanism and an O-ring in here. Be careful with it. I'll show you those. O-ring here, O-ring there. When you replace this with a new brine valve, a new drive-in cap, it'll come with washers and O-rings you'll want to put in there, and you'll notice the newness of it. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes this cracks, gets old, and you'll notice that even this system from 2006 has this little plunger on it, and you'll see how black it is. It'll start getting old and it'll be difficult for it to seal. When this is in a home position, it's pushed all the way out and it butts up against this drain in cap, which we'll see in a minute. It's supposed to seal it, but as you can see, the little blackness, it gets old. Sometimes that'll need to be replaced. So it's easy to replace this. Just pull it out and you just push your new one back in and just replace the other screws and the other things that we've already covered, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so that is your drive-in cap assembly and how to remove that. Very simple.